Hi everyone, this is X Nimri from Sahara Stellar Orc and Star Citizen. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make your own wireless fly stick using Raspberry Pi. Bismillah, we start. Just to give you context about the story behind this project was inspired by our orc member Lance, who wanted a clean, portable setup to mount his fly sticks and not to deal with cable management every time. While wired connections are great, I found there is no commercial product in the market covering this segment. People with disabilities who can't be behind a PC, they wish to have such solution to enjoy flying. Despite the use case, I hope this will help someone who can make use of it and enhance it. Now, let's get started. Generally speaking, you can use any Raspberry Pi for this project as long as it supports Wi-Fi. For our use case, we are going with Raspberry Pi 02W. To install the Raspberry Pi OS, you need a micro SD card 8 to 32 GB. You will need a Raspberry Pi case, depending on your Raspberry Pi model. For convenience, I would recommend to go with Raspberry Pi kits. It comes preloaded with all the necessary accessories that you will need to complete your project. They are relatively cheap on Amazon. I'll add few links in the description. The assembly process for the unit is straightforward and should take about 4 to 5 minutes. If your computer doesn't come with SD card slot or micro SD card slot, I'm sharing here few options to consider to insert your SD card into the computer. Now we need to download the Raspberry Pi imager to prepare our SD card and install the Raspberry Pi OS. Choose your device based on the model you are using. For the OS, we will go with Raspberry Pi OS Lite without the desktop components, since this unit will be running headless without monitor. Select the storage pointing to your micro SD card. It's important to edit the custom settings in this stage. Add your hostname, your username and password, add your Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi password. This will make sure that your device will connect to the network on startup. Also important to enable the SSH services, which will allow us to connect to the device over network to troubleshoot and configure and run few updates. From there, we apply the settings and we move forward. The imager will start preparing your SD card to install the operating system with all the settings we have configured. This process will take time. Be patient and let the software do its own thing. Once done, disconnect your SD card and insert it inside the Raspberry Pi. Connect your Raspberry Pi to the power supply and give it some time to boot. From our main machine, we will try to connect to the Raspberry Pi unit. Load your command prompt and SSH to the Pi host name, same name you have selected in the custom settings. It's good practice to update your operating system. Use the commands showing on the screen to get all the necessary update and give it some time. Once the update is done, we need to install Virtual here. This piece of software will allow us to share any USB device connected to the Raspberry Pi over our network. Copy the package URL and use the wget command to download the package. Use chmod to add execute permission to the package. To make the application runs every time we boot the Raspberry Pi, we will add it to rc.local. This will make the application run in the background every time we start our Raspberry Pi. Now let's run Virtual here in the background using this command. Connect your HOSAS or HOTAS to the USB hub linked to the Raspberry Pi. Now, since we have the server running and the HOTAS connected to it, we need to use a client software to borrow these devices from the network on the main machine. The default installation for Virtual here is trial, and it allows you to connect single device. If you want to connect multiple devices at the same time, you need to acquire a license. If you decided to buy the license, keep in mind the license is bound to the server hardware and cannot be moved or transferred. Here you can see when I borrow the devices from the server, the main machine will recognize these devices and they will show part of the game controllers. Now let's test this setup. Run Star Citizen and check your joystick keybinds. I'm overall happy with the performance. The joystick responded very well, and I couldn't tell any difference. I experienced few brief hiccups, but I think they were due to my network traffic. I'm using the first generation of Google Wi-Fi mesh system, which is quite old by now. I'll update this video with any new findings in the future. From here, it's up to you how you would like to attach the Raspberry Pi to your system. You could use Velcro to attach it under the chair or connect it to a portable power bank. Feel free to get creative based on your needs. Now we have reached to the end of this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section, and I will be happy to address them as soon as I can. Thank you for watching and مع السلامة.